Previously on the Infinite Escape Room.
Yes, I steal all of your data and sell it to people.
I have a smelly bum bum.
The metaverse is just so I can spy on Vin Diesel in the shower.
And then the D.
Hello, and welcome to the Infinite Escape Room, the puzzling podcast where a group of geographically diverse chums come together, have a drink, and work together to solve a homemade escape room of the ears. Except today, and for the next several days / weeks, depending on when you're listening to this, we are not, in fact, escaping from an escape room of the ears. We will instead be on the finite room quest, which will make a lot more sense in a minute and probably roll off the tongue a bit more as well.
We're still workshopping the brand.
Still, yeah, the name.
Yeah.
If you have a better name for this, send us a message at PO Box.
Shut up, keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, hello, I am Mike, and I am drinking a low alcohol gin and tonic because we have a long recording session in front of us, and I don't want to get blotto just yet. That'll happen later. And joining me on this recording, we have.
I'm Bailey, and I am drinking a lovely little coffee for now. This may progress to cider, not wine. Yeah, so a bit of a change for me.
And I'm Ben Levy-Griffiths, and at the moment I'm halfway through a cup of tea, but I've got a non-alcoholic beer lined up after that, and then an actual alcoholic beer lined up after that. So.
And I'm Jamie, and because I'm in my mid-30s and it is a Sunday afternoon, I'm drinking plain old water straight from the teat of the Welsh mountains. But I do have some mead and some beer in the fridge for later on when things get a bit spicy.
Some lovely council pop. Lovely.
Delish.
And GMing / facilitating for us on this Sunday afternoon in our finite room quest adventure. Again, the name could use some work. We have...
Hello, I'm Tony. You've probably heard me on this before. And I'm drinking a Guinness because I've already got a hangover from yesterday, so I figured I'd just keep it rolling.
Right.
That's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Ride that dragon.
I'll tell you what, I have just had a Lucozade Sport, which has made me feel a lot better.
All the ions. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm brimming with electrolytes.
So Tony's going to be GMing us through a finite 4-part quest adventure. So I'll hand over to him now to kick us off.
Hello, yes. So today we're going to be playing a game called Quest, written by TC Sotek. You can find Quest at adventure.game. It's a relatively new game, and it's really built for lightweight play, quick storytelling. It's got a fantasy flavour to it, and it's definitely great for people who are a bit newer to tabletop RPGs and people who don't want to spend lots of time doing lots of maths and keeping track of a million different things, which is just what we want for this kind of storytelling. So I will be playing, as Mike said, I will be in the role of GM, the guide as the game calls it, and the other folks on the call will be playing their own characters who we will introduce in time. You may recognise some of them, and one of them, I don't know whether one is the right number to say here, but one of them will be a new and exciting character that Jamie's going to introduce.
And before we proceed any further, we would just like to thank our fabulous patrons for keeping the wind beneath our wings, the sills beneath our windows, and the shoes beneath our socks. And in particular, I'd like to give an extra special thank you to Christopher Cheng and Charlotte Knowles. Thanks very much, folks. You guys are pretty darn cool. If you'd like to join their ranks for as little as £1 a month, you can do so over at patreon.com/The Infinite Escape Room. There'll be a link in the episode description below. There's bonus content, access to unedited material, early release of episodes, and other guff.
Without further ado, we good to go? Everyone happy? Everyone excited?
Rock and roll.
Yes. Ooh. Let's go. Okay, so last time you you destroyed Facebook from the inside on behalf of Elon Musk, and then went on a honey bender with that famous honey boy, Winnie the Pooh. You slip gently into a honey-drugged haze. Your bleary eyelids droop, and just before they close completely, you notice the trouserless Pooh Bear drawing an arcane circle around you on the floor with the remainder of the sticky goop. The four of you feel yourselves floating into the air, and the room darkens around you. With a snap, you find yourselves fully conscious. As the saying goes, you should always look before you leap, but unfortunately, whoever owns the bodies you're currently inhabiting did not. All four of you feel yourselves tumbling down a sandy ramp, elbows and knees crashing into each other as you hurtle onwards and down. The floor meets you with an unfriendly thump as you land in a sandy cave, dimly lit by a thin shaft of light some hundreds of feet above you. Disentangling yourselves and getting to your feet, you will feel different, changed. Bailey, you look down at your arms and see the familiar green orcish skin of Baileynator Jones, familiar as an old pair of shoes but with a few new scuffs and scratches. Mike, you feel a thrill of recognition as you brush Clamstromlington's luscious locks out of your eyes. But something feels different. You're crackling with a new energy even more bestial than before. Ben, you look up at the towering figures who surround you and realise that, once more, you are inhabiting the 3-foot-nothing frame of the wordless wizard, Forquare Quendien. His beard a little longer, his tongue perhaps a little rounder than the last time. And Jamie, you hold your hands up in the low light and see a pair of rolled-up fawn-coloured sleeves with 2 muddy green clawed hands sticking out. Looking past the hands, you see the slides attached. What the fuck have I written here?
I like that Ben. I enjoy that Ben's come through basically unchanged.
Also,
there it is.
Mike, you've got more than one lock of hair now.
I know.
That was like you've got more than one.
Yeah.
I don't know if the
More
webcam
bestial
saw the
than
tear
before.
rolling down the side of my face.
Looking past these hands, you see the ground below you, and you see that the front of the coat that you're wearing is sticking forward. You lower your hands, and the coat falls flat back against your body. Your vision feels strange, like you can't quite see what's going on below eye level. You feel very odd. So, the 4 of you are at the bottom of this slope. The slope behind you is very steep and very far, and definitely not something you could climb back up. And in front of you, there is a small, dimly lit passageway. What do you do?
I would like to look down the passageway.
You look down the passageway and you can see, not far down, maybe, 10, 15 metres away, there is an opening, an archway, with slightly brighter light within.
See,
Shall we?
well, I don't know. I'll happy to go with the group, but this seems a bit of a like the slope that you can't get back up, or this inviting little passage. Maybe it's a bit of a bluff. I don't know. That's what my feelings are. But I'm happy.
I'm not trying to trick you.
Oh, okay, all right.
This is just the on ramp. This is just to get us started.
The levels of
fall
distrust
into a
we've
meat
engendered on this
grinder.
podcast.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Roll the die. Anything below a 20, you're dead.
You're dead. Yeah.
No, so you head down to this passage and you find yourselves in a circular chamber, maybe 10 metres across with a vaulted ceiling about 10 metres high. There are torches in sconces around the wall, and to your left, right, and on the opposite wall, you can see carefully carved bas-reliefs, each with a wide stone basin underneath. And in the middle of the room, there is a sort of very plain-looking marble pedestal with nothing on it.
So, what you said? Bas-reliefs.
Yeah.
Like carvings in the wall.
All right, cool.
Sort of flat carvings. If
I don't know your fancy.
bas-relief.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
BAS space relief.
Oh, relief. I thought you said like a barrel.
Bas-reliefs.
Yeah,
Leaf
barrel.
from the barrel. Yeah.
Ben, I'm glad you asked because I didn't. So, no, that's fine. That's fine.
I had to look up what they were called. I was like, is it a frieze? Is it a stucco? No, it's a bas-relief. Anyway.
Okay, can I,
Another 2 words I don't know either, but it's all good.
Yeah, I only barely know what I'm talking about.
Can I take a saunter run over and look at the relief on the west wall?
Yes, let's say to your left. As you step into the room, the doorway behind you, or the passage behind you, seals shut with a stony scrape as a door slides into place. So you're looking at the basin on the left-hand side of the room. The relief on it has an image of 2 large pillars, and then kind of carved between these 2 pillars, depending on how it's lit, it could be a light beyond them, or maybe it's a deep darkness with light on the outside. It's hard to tell because it's carved, there's no colour. Beneath the pillars, there is a line of cursive text which reads, "Something broken might inspire."
Intriguing. Anything about the relief itself that's like cracked or hollow? Give it a little tentative tap with a claw.
You take a knock and it feels pretty normal. Nothing too distinctive about it. It's it's well carved, it's well made. It definitely looks old, but it's well maintained. It's not been weathered by time or anything like that.
Superb craftsmanship. I love it.
Mm.
Could we take a little look at the basin below it, please?
Yes, the basin is a wide stone basin, maybe 18 inches across and 18 inches deep. There's no hole at the bottom or anything. It's just a big stone semicircular bowl attached to the wall. It's a bit like being at a Turkish bath or something like that, going for a hammam, and they've got, the big basin. No one else ever done that? Okay.
No. The life you lead, Tony.
Well, you go on holiday to Turkey, and they're like, do you want to go for a Turkish bath? And you go, yeah, sure. And then they, soak a pillowcase in soapy water and fill it with air and then squeeze it out, and all these bubbles come out. It's amazing.
Oh,
they just cover you in foam. It's great.
I thought you were going to say, and beat you with it. Then,
well, no, it's just a pillowcase.
I just
wouldn't do much.
But I know it's bubbles and beautiful. Yeah.
Tony's talking about Turkish baths, and we're just like, what's a bath? So, what about the bas-relief on the north?
Yeah.
Well done, Mike. On the wall directly opposite, behind the pillar, the carving has a semicircular shape carved into it with an intricate geometric pattern inside that semicircle. The semicircle is flat on the bottom and the curve is on the top. And it has a sharp spike jutting out from the top of that semicircle. And the words below read, "A magic box where fun transpires."
Ooh. Hello. A magic.
All right, baby.
Sorry.
Take it down a notch.
Even though
I said no erotic role play.
Yeah. Damn it. We're
playing the X card.
Has that got the same sort of basin below it as the one on the left?
Exactly. It's the carving around it, the archway that sort of surrounds the carving and everything. It's all very much the same as the other one. They are identical aside from the image being different.
And are the basins empty?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Should we take a look at the east, the one to the right?
Yeah, the third one, the one on your right. The third basin features a carving of an equilateral triangle. A single line enters it on the left-hand side and then splits into many segments carved with different textures as it leaves on the right-hand side. The text below reads, "Something rich that burns like fire."
Mead. Ooh. I'm getting so with that one on the right, that third one, I'm getting an album cover vibe. That kind of like a
Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon. I think of,
that's kind of the vibe I'm getting with that.
That was the visual inspiration for it. Yeah,
that's right. That was something rich that burns like fire.
Something rich that burns like fire.
Oh, and they all rhyme. All of these rhyme. Just to say.
Yes.
That's cool. Inspire.
Oh,
inspire,
I have.
inspire.
If I remember my inventory and what I put in it, I think I have a magical flask of brandy. Hello, Editing Mike here. This is a good stage to point out that we have each created our characters beforehand. Tony gave us a lovely little tool to roll them up and work out what their attributes are and their personalities and what they're wearing and that sort of thing, and also what their abilities are and what their equipment is. We'll be referring to these from time to time in the episode. I, for example, am currently carrying a rapier, a battle lute, a stolen dagger, and a magical flask which has been enchanted to permanently refill itself with brandy. Items in everybody else's inventories will soon be revealed, but we'll always, hopefully, contextualise what they do when they do. But if you're interested in the detail, we'll be adding the equipment and abilities they have to the show notes. Anyway, back to the action. I think I have a magical flask of brandy, which would be good thinking juice right now. So I'll take a good swig of that from my magical flask of brandy, which magically stays full at all times. And I'll try putting a splosh into the basin underneath this just to see, because this is something magical that burns like fire. No, something rich that burns like fire. Good rich brandy. So yeah, I'll put a splash of that into the basin and see what happens.
Yeah, so you pour brandy into that basin, and the carving in the wall glows with a soft light.
Okay.
And you see
that's cool.
The pattern. You can now see that the triangle just stays the same colour of the stone, but the line coming in from the left is bright white, and the lines coming out the other side glowing like red, orange, yellow.
So it's like a
blue,
reflected.
Yeah. Purple. Yeah, exactly.
Shall we each go through what's in our inventories just in case we have stuff that matches up to these things? So I have in mind.
Really hope you haven't changed anything since I wrote this puzzle.
So in my inventory, in Clam Stromlington's inventory, he has a rapier, He has his battle loot, which is the same as his old loot, but has some nails stuck in it. He's got somebody else's misplaced dagger that he just basically pinched, and this magical flask of brandy, which is a flask of brandy, but it's magically enchanted to refill with brandy. So what does everybody else have in their inventories?
So right in through the trenchcoat pockets, we find a dagger, a spiked club, a scimitar, and a set of lockpicks. Should be handy.
So again, mine is very equipment to deal death and destruction. Double-headed axe, a long sword, knuckle dusters. But I do have some kiln gauze. So I don't know if any of that is any help, but possibly something broken might inspire. But I'm not sure if you need to fix it. I think that's what kiln gauze does.
Kiln gauze is the description here says a container of magic gauze that can be used to repair broken metal weapons like swords.
Yeah.
When the gauze is wrapped around a severed weapon, it welds the weapon back together in a flash.
Yeah.
There is enough gauze in each container to repair one weapon.
Cool. So so don't know that's what it, like, but I don't think my pockets are much help.
Ben, how about you?
And I have a staff, a dagger, a longsword, and Brell's tent in a tin, which, if I recall correctly, we can use to it'll inflate itself up to a big tent, and we can sort of take shelter in there. Nothing can hear us within it, and then it will back into the tin when we're finished.
I saw that one. I hope someone would pick one of those up. I was like, yeah, I look really cool.
So that one does sound like a magic box where fun transpires.
It does, doesn't it?
It's like a bouncy castle.
Ooh,
Yeah, maybe.
that's true. But
In that case, then, can I
Okay.
place can Forquare place the tin in the sort of topmost basin, please?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So you place the tin in the basement, and the carving of this semicircular shape, this kind of dome shape with a spike on the top, glows in a kind of sparkling crystal pattern, and the spike at the top glows gold.
Ah, nice.
so I'm just thinking, like, is the only non-weapony things in mine and Jamie's are the lockpicks and the kiln gauze, and I think maybe the kiln gauze might be pop that in the old basin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's left.
Okay, you pop the kiln gauze in, but nothing happens.
Oh,
So let's
okay. The
let's try the same with the lockpicks. I don't think it'll work, but we'll give it a go.
You put the lockpicks in, and nothing happens.
Should we?
Oh,
Should
okay.
we take a look at the pedestal in the centre?
Pedestal in the middle, yeah.
Okay.
The pedestal in the middle of the room is, I don't know, 3 feet high, so the same height as Forquare. Made out of
We'll lift you up
marble,
then.
like a Have a look. Made out of made
Are
out
you
of
Yoda?
white marble. Basically, made out of white marble with and it's got a sort of flat circular top about 12 inches across.
Okay.
There's nothing else to set it apart. It's just a pedestal in the middle of the room.
Nothing carved, no words, anything like that. Interesting.
Is this something I can break? Because let's face it, that's what Balionator does. I'm just saying, something broken might inspire.
Yeah.
If I maybe take my knuckle dusters and brute strength to the pillar. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, unless someone else has got.
No, that's a really good idea. So I've got this misplaced dagger that I found on somebody's bedstead in a totally innocent bedstead-related theft. Why don't I give you this? You can break that. I don't give a shit. It's not my dagger.
All right. So
yeah,
like,
break it with your mighty strength.
with her little fingers. Dink.
Like snapping a fortune cookie. Yeah.
Yeah, like to snap the dagger,
right. Cool.
like just like sneeze and it snaps, and pop.
I think this is I'm not going to make you roll for this because I think this is like a cheap shit dagger, and you are very, very strong, so it doesn't make sense for you to roll. So you snap the dagger in two, and you put the two parts into the basin, and the carving between the two pillars going into the middle like glows on the outer edges, and then has like a center goes almost darker, like becomes this sort of profound dark from which no light escapes, and then it goes back to normal. And as you do that, you all hear from behind you, when you're looking at this basin, you hear a kind of fizzing, crackling sound, and you turn to look and you see a small leather bundle take form on top of the pedestal, glowing sparks of golden light dancing off it as it solidifies.
Ooh. So who wants to take a look at the bundle?
Yeah, curiosity.
I would, but I can't reach.
Yeah, as soon as we see that sparkly bundle, curiosity gets the better of us, and we're going straight there.
Yeah.
So you stagger across the room. I assume that's how we're describing Jamie's
Great
characters.
difficulty.
Totter. I think totter's a good
Totter, yeah, totter's a good one. Yeah. You totter across the room and open this leather bundle, and inside there are two things. There is a small wooden disc, which is about 1.5 inches across, and it has a sort of arcane symbol that you don't recognise, like some sort of very old script that definitely doesn't look like the alphabet that's in use in the here and now in the common tongue. And then the other thing that you see is a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, there are 3 lines of text, which I'm going to read out to you now. I'll also copy and paste into the chat.
Cool.
The text says, "Just 3 more lines will show the way to fame and fortune, hearth and home. To find the first, follow the signs beneath the sparkling crystal dome. The elder's tomb provides a second, and holy place reveals the third." And then the paper is very obviously torn below that. So there is a very visible tear across the middle, between these lines of text. You can sort of see maybe the tops of some, the stems of certain letters, but not enough that you would be able to make out the words.
So we show the paper to the rest of the group so everyone can have a good nose at it.
Lovely.
Bless.
And as you lift this off the pedestal, you see the centre basin recess into the wall. It kind of shifts backwards about 15 centimetres and then slides across the side, opening up a new passageway, and you can see a soft golden glow from that direction.
I think we should proceed through the golden glow. Clam Stromlington in the lead, I guess playing a jolly tune on his lute.
Sure. You strut proudly through this gap, and you find yourselves at the bottom of a spiral staircase. There are torches lining the walls all the way up on both sides of the staircase, so it's very well lit. And behind you, you hear the basin slide back into place with a stony scrape. So you're at the bottom of a big spiral staircase, heading up. Are you going up? I assume that's what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just throwing yourselves at a metal wall.
Onwards and upwards.
Not a metal.
Yeah,
wall,
let's
wall.
go.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
okay, cool.
Balinatus squeezes through.
Almost as soon as you round the first corner, you hear a grotesque slurping sound. The air turns acrid. Then the smell of burning flesh hits you. A revolting red blob of partially dissolved bones, guts, and adventuring gear wobbles towards you. It looks ready for its next meal.
Right.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah.
Except, I guess, I should probably say that in Clam's voice. Let us get ready to rumble.
Rumble.
Crumble.
Much phlegm as possible. Phlegm strumming. That was my abiding memory of the last time.
Yeah, I've already knackered my throat and I've not even started doing the voice yet. This is terrible.
Yeah, so this wobbling, probably 7 foot tall, something like that.
Oh.
Red, disgusting, stinky jelly thing is coming towards you with, partially dissolved bits of body inside it and adventuring gear.
Oh, God.
Looking ready to come and get you.
Right.
What's the plan?
I draw my rapier.
Yeah, let's go for it. Is it? Sorry, I'm just trying to think. Bayonetta Jones isn't good at thinking. So she's just going to grab a double-edged axe and just get ready.
Yeah.
Go for it. Okay. Well, Bailey, why don't you make an attack first? Let's start this. So it's the 4 of you are going to take turns. So
Fabulous.
Bailey, roll a d20 for us.
Okie dokie. Oh, let's hope. Come on. Ooh, okay, not 19.
19, that's brilliant.
That's
That's
not
a
bad.
success. So you swing your axe towards this thing and you make contact pretty perfectly and your axe swings and slices through. But as you come out the other side, the jelly just reforms
Oh, okay.
and seems like you've done no damage whatsoever.
Bloody blob.
You've just
Yeah.
got glorp on your axe and your axe smells really bad.
For God's sake.
So
Nice.
this thing is, I'd say this thing, I think is probably lurching towards Forquare as the smallest of the group. It's like the easiest meal. What do you do?
I think I'm going to try a magic strike at this wobbly jelly thing.
Okay.
The magic strike is I point my sword at this this jelly-like thing and sort of shoot a shimmering missile at it. But I'd quite like to overload the missile to increase its damage to 4.
Yeah, sure.
I presume I need to give you a roll?
Yes, it's a roll the die one. Yes, please do.
Oh, I've got 20.
That's a 20. That's a critical success.
Nice.
Well done. So you blast this thing with this magic strike, and because you've increased the damage, it's particularly effective. You've really channeled all of your energy into this thing, and your eldritch blast hits the thing, and you see it burst into gouts of flame around it, and you hear this like kind of horrible guttural scream. And you see, dark charring forming on the outside of this thing as it rears back up the step. That's clearly done something. That's clearly done more than just swinging an axe. Sorry, Bailey.
Oh, no. It's fine.
Rearing back, Clam and Jamie's character, who we'll come to in a moment. What are you guys doing? Who's got an action here?
After you, please, Jamie. Slash. Mysterious
At the moment,
trio
you
of
don't
strangers.
know. Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, there's a shuffling through the trench coat, and we come up with a spike club and totter over to this big red blob thing and try and smack at a bit that's already like pre-charred, so not a squishy bit, a bit that's kind of crispy. Mm-hmm. Just give it the beans.
Just want to crack it like a creme brulee.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you roll?
That is a 17.
Very nice. Okay, so although you managed to hit one of these rather crispy, crackly bits very successfully, your blade slips through this kind of surface level damage and then comes straight back to you, covered in glurp. So you've done something here to the outer skin of this thing, but not enough to finish it off.
Bugger.
Clam, what do you do?
So Clam's observed that physical weapons don't seem to make much of a dent on this. But Clam's in touch with his natural side now, and he's going to use his mighty shape-shifting skills.
Yes.
Oh no, it's not. Hang on. Hang on. I've got a sound for this. Are you
getting a lot of different sounds, not particularly clearly on the Discord.
Okay,
that was a wolf
and a sheep,
and
an eagle.
And an eagle.
And an eagle. Yeah, you got it. Okay, that's the sound of him doing a wild thing. He's going to transform into a goat.
Okay.
And try and eat some of it. Billy goats, they'll eat anything. He's going to try and eat some of the side of this slime.
Okay. Okay, roll for me.
Okay.
That's Tony's face.
9.
Oh, mate. Okay. So you, as a goat, trot forward and get your chompers round a glob of this red stuff. And I'm going to say you've got 2 options. Either this is a tough choice, so I might roll a 9 here, which means that it's a tough choice. So you're going to get what you want, which I think is to do some damage, but with a negative consequence of your choice. So either you don't do the damage, this thing tastes so disgusting that before you can chomp down, you stagger backwards and have to do a little goat vomit. Or you can do the damage, but you're going to take some damage yourself because this thing is toxic.
Oh, Clam's,
what do you want?
Clam's all about self-preservation.
You want to take damage?
He's going to do a little goat vom.
Yeah, okay. So you get a mouthful and then rear backwards. I think so. Now it's the blob's turn. The jelly responding to this infraction of its personal space looms towards you and it's going to try and sort of envelop you in its wobbly. This is you, Clam. Its wobbly guts. And that's a failure. That is a 4 I rolled there. So the jelly attempts to, but you, in your goaty ways, I guess, how are you avoiding this with your goat skills?
Well, Clem is using his mountain goat might to just kind of, scamper up a bit of wall and just sort of perch on half a micron of sticky outy wall, because that's what goats do.
That's absolutely it. Like a single brick that's not quite flush with the rest of it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, I love it. Perfect. Okay, why don't we go back to Forquare, who is now to the side of this thing and perhaps in a position to attack while its attention is on the very springy goat. What do you do, Ben?
Oh, well, I'm very tempted to do what I did before, but I think maybe instead I will try another magical ability, which is it's called Kindle, which I can it causes flammable objects to ignite. I may be hoping that this blob is a great flammable thing. So yes, I'm going to try Kindle.
Okay. So the text of that move says you rub your hands together, causing a flammable object you can see nearby to ignite in flame. The spell can ignite textile, wood, paper, and other combustible material. The spell cannot be used directly on creatures, but it can be used to ignite flammable things they are wearing or carrying. Igniting something on a creature deals 1 damage to them. Now, this thing is full of, like, there's a shield in there, and there's a spear and a sword with a wooden hilt and things like that. So I think if you want to pick something inside, it doesn't have to be one of the things I just said. Use your imagination.
I'm guessing that there's a sort of relatively large sort of backpack in there made of some sort of canvas, which I'm going
Absolutely. There is. Yeah. It's got most of a rib cage still attached to it. With the arms going through. So you rub your hands together and concentrate on this backpack, and you see from within this blood jelly this bright golden flame emerging from this backpack from inside. And unbeknownst to you, there is a little bit of powder in there, a little bit of gunpowder, which ignites and causes the jelly to burst in a bloody mess, spattering all over the walls. And you have defeated this jelly.
Woohoo!
Safe. For now.
Oh, well done.
Hey, well done. Bloody good show, Forquare.
Great, thanks, Mike.
Feels like the wrong person in charge of this.
Yeah, Ben, I believe in the course of that fight you used
2
ability points. So if you wouldn't mind changing your AP to 8, Mike, what did you use? Animal form?
Yeah, so I've deducted my 2 AP.
Okay, fine, good. I'm going to say everyone gets 1 AP. For resolving that fight. So you climb up to the top of the stairs, and a simple wooden door stands in your way to the street. As you push it open, you stumble into the daylight, and whoosh, a flood of memories washes over all of you. So Bailey, Ben, Mike, you are suddenly met with the memories of the last 18 months of your characters' lives since the last time you saw them in the Delian tomb. And Jamie, you are particularly overwhelmed by multiple sets of memories of entire lives. So Jamie, why don't you start us off and tell us about your character?
So we are Luck, Stuck and Bugger, or Ellis to our friends. We are 3 goblins in a trench coat, and we are inseparable, the 3 of us. And we are a collective. We only refer to ourselves in the plural. And we are constantly disguised in this trench coat to try and pass as one of the big and talls. We hail from an island shrouded by mist far away. It's a technologically advanced city, but they very jealously guard their knowledge and their technology. And we didn't like that. We think that this should be shared with the world to make a better world for everybody. So we left. We snuck out. But we quickly found that in this land, the big and talls don't like people different or as different as we are, so we learned to disguise ourselves to pass as one of them. We learned we were quite good at it. So now we pass our trade in the law of subterfuge and secrecy and gadgetry, and we are a spy.
Great. Bailey, why don't you tell us about what Bailey and Ada Jones been up to for the last year and a half since we left the Delian tomb?
Fab. So, since the last quest, Miss Jones has taken a break from the fighting and the pillaging and the pig massacres. For
regular day in the life.
Another quest from Richmond sausages.
Oh no, they're the worst sausages. They're the worst.
Exactly.
Like the Yorkshire, the pork. It's got to be at least like 80% pork. Richmond's is just all arseholes and eyelids. It's not good. Anyway.
It's still pork.
Anyway, I'm not going to start a big rant on Richmond sausages, even though they're really good.
Let's not get into the bubble chat.
Something like an anti-sponsor.
Yeah, sorry, but They're not my cup of tea. Anyway, so for several months, she hit the party train hard. Abandoning warrior life, she became the half-orc disco queen on the party scene in taverns up and down the country. It was a good few months until local revellers started to turn against her. Baileynator was convinced this was due to the jealousy of her killer dance moves and orc constitution for ale. She was always last on the dance floor, ripping things up. Unbeknownst to her, the villagers she met admired her wild approach to dance. However, they did not like the medical and construction bills she piled up due to her brute strength and long, failing limbs. So a lot of people had gone through a lot of walls, and the towns were starting to go bankrupt. The disco in the orphanage was a big source of regret for them. Anyway, so Baileynator, after that few months of partying hard, left the mountains to focus on the life she feels she can only have, and that is as a fighter.
Ben, why don't you tell us what Forquare's been up to?
Well, the last year and a half for Forquare has been a bit of a mixed bag. After mourning the loss of Boo the Rat, he found that his ability to perform magic was dwindling, while his consumption of overly malty beers was doing quite the opposite. With his last gold coin, he placed a bet at the Mandring urchin races and won big time.
Urchin races.
What?
I just love that. I just love that he won big time. I just like that. That whole sentence is amazing.
He spent his fortune on an unhealthy habit of collecting and hoarding Magic Eye magazines in an unsuccessful attempt to bring back his magical powers. In a fit of rage, the entire collection was swapped for a new pet rat called Cry. Cry helped Forquare regain the confidence he needed in a life to regain his powers and reduce the levels of multi-beer consumption, thus proving that while Boo might startle the very essence out of you, a good cry will make everything better.
Aww.
Start with the pun and work backwards.
Poetry.
The Ben Lavery Christmas guarantee.
Oh, amazing.
Tony, that wasn't intended. It just sort of fell out at the end.
We've all been there.
And great minds. And Mike, why don't you tell us what Clam's been up to?
So Clam is still very much a wandering scoundrel, rogue, an occasional bard whose appetite for lusty encounters far exceeds his actual charm. Since we last saw Clam, he's changed and grown as a person. A rather close brush with a particularly potent strain of magical VD and an understandably cross head which has made him reconsider his priorities in life and get back in touch with nature. He pawned all of his possessions and adventuring loot to join a spiritual commune far in the mountains under the tutelage of Guru Grundlethunk. He spent his days receiving mystical wisdom about the natural world and getting in touch with nature by working the fields and doing door-to-door sales. Mystical bliss could not last, though, and he was asked impolitely to leave for not observing his vow of celibacy. And this may have been for the best, as the commune was raided by the town watch shortly afterwards and exposed as a combination Ponzi scheme, money laundering operation, and suicide cult. Clam has emerged from his misadventures none the worse for wear, though, with a spiritual affinity for nature that allows him to call upon the powers of the wild. And a mild immunisation to crotch rot. Also, he invented the battle lute, which is the same as his old lute, except he hammered some nails through it. So that's what he's been up to. Been a busy time. Form of a pigeon.
Exceptional. So, okay, these are the characters we are playing. We are picking up a year and a half later. What you all realise, on top of filling in this 18 months or so gap, is that you are in the bustling capital city of Enaria. And you have been brought here, the four of you, commissioned by the historian Theodoric to follow the trail of clues that he started, sending you into this underground chamber to find what's there. And he's hoping to find a great, exciting treasure at the end, but he's been a little cagey about what it might be. So, you have 3 lines of poetry. You know where Theodoric lives. You can go, I mean, you can kind of do what you want now. You're in this city. You can go and talk to anyone you like. You can look for whatever you want. What do you want to do?
Could we take a look around us in the middle of the city? I kind of want to see if we can see, for example, a crystal dome or a holy place in the Elder's Tomb.
You've found yourself in it's a tightly packed city, like a European, the old town of a lot of European capitals and stuff, where they're tightly packed, tall buildings, maybe 4 or 5 stories. The streets are not very wide, so there's a lot of people hustling and bustling around. You can't really see anything distant from where you are because of how tall the buildings are and stuff like that. So you'd either need to ask around or perhaps get out of the city up somewhere high if you were trying to spot these things. I'd say that none of you've not been here long. None of you have like advanced local knowledge. Let's say you've only been here a day or two.
Okay. Should we go either we find a high place maybe just to kind of scope our bearings a bit, or if we know we're Theodoric, lives, maybe go find him.
Yeah, he could probably give us the lay of the land, or at least like give us a map. Or
yeah, sounds good. Let's do that.
See Theodoric.
Okay. Cool. So you have actually been staying in Theodoric's barn. Theodoric lives in a nice sort of tumble down old house, but it's sort of cozy and warm in the very south of the city, just outside the walls. So you head out through Applike's Way. I've got a map here. I will show it to you in a minute. You head out through Applike's Way and follow the city walls down to Theodoric's place in Low Orchard. He greets you warmly. He's a tall, slightly older man, maybe late middle-aged, with blonde hair shot through with grey and a sort of a little bit of stubble. He's stuck in his books most of the time, so he's only taking care of himself as much as he needs to. And he welcomes you in. Hello. Yes. Wonderful to see you. Come in. Tell me what you found. Did you make it to the chamber underground?
Yes, we did, replies Clam.
Superb. And what did you find down there?
We found a big red cube of jelly, and it nearly swallowed us.
He makes a sort of confused face, and he's like, "That's not entirely what I was expecting, but I suppose if perhaps you weren't the first down there, then a red jelly may have had time to eat other adventurers. Congratulations on making it out alive. There is strength in numbers."
Just don't worry, the short one burned him, and we are fine.
We did also find...
Great.
I should probably do this in voice. We did also find the tiny little circular medallion-y thingy with the arcane symbol-y.
He looks at it and studies it carefully, and he says, yes, this is certainly an old rune from many centuries ago, before the city was rebuilt. I can't tell you exactly what it means, but there may be something in one of my books. I would need time to research it before I could tell you what it means.
He also found this, and then shuffles through the pockets of the trench coat and comes up with a little bit of paper.
It's a real shame that the listeners can't see the video of you sort of hoisting things up past you.
That's for the top tier Patreons.
That's us. So he takes the piece of paper carefully from you and spreads it out on the table to take a look at it. And you see him muttering under his breath as he reads the lines of this poem. He says, "So 3 more lines will show the way to fame and fortune, hearth and home. To find a first, follow the signs beneath the sparkling crystal dome. The Elder Tomb provides another. Yeah, the Elder Tomb provides a second, and Holy Place reveals the third." Interesting. Well, I mean, the sparkling crystal dome could only be really referring to the Crystal Bazaar. That must be one of the things it's talking about. The Elder's Tomb is. I mean, if I were a guessing man, I'd say it's probably somewhere up on the hill to the northwest of town, where the various burial grounds are. And while there are many small septs and temples, it's hard to know exactly which, but certainly the prismatic temple would be somewhere to look. That's the biggest and most visible, but it could be any one of the smaller ones. It's hard to be 100% sure.
Okay, so should we maybe go and investigate? Well, we could go and investigate at least one of these locations, couldn't we? Also, I'm thinking that there might be some sort of triangulation thing going on here where we get some. So the lines from these locations might give us a location somewhere else within the city. So I'm getting that sort of triangulation-y vibe.
Are you saying this
yeah.
out of character? Or are you saying?
Oh, sorry. This
saying
is me.
to,
This is me thinking in my head, and actually, comes to think of it, Clam wouldn't have thoughts this intelligent. So, I guess, I guess this stays in the Omniverse, and Clam just sits there,
Park that for now, shall we?
thinking about other animals with horns he can turn into.
Because he is famously horny.
Exactly.
Forquare shuffles over to Theodoric and contemplates for a little while how to use the least words possible. And
just staring at him like really intensely.
yeah.
Just trying to read my thoughts. Just
sort of whispers almost, "Can we have a map, please?"
Theodoric says, yes, of course. Let me see what I can rustle up. So he disappears off into a back room. You've seen a few parts of this house, and you know that there's just like everything is books. Like you cannot move in this place for books and bits of all sorts of exciting stuff. And he comes back out and spreads out on the table a large piece of paper. And now the map that I'm sharing with you, which I'm sure we can include in the podcast notes, was produced using I think it's called the Medieval City generator.
Oh, wow.
We can include,
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. So we can and it's a random generator, and I cycled through a few different variants until I found one that I liked, and then made a few changes myself, because you can download it as an SVG. We can put a link to that in the show notes, because it is, if you ever run games like this, I live and die by this tool. It's really spectacular.
Could I
That's really excellent.
use one of my skills, please? Could I use...
You can use... Just tell me whenever you want to use them.
I'm going to use my dossier skill, so it means that I've got a magic book that can make copies of any written thing or drawn thing. So I'd like to use that to make a copy of the map, a copy of the letter, and then make a rubbing of that disc, so we've got something for reference.
Okay. Yep. So you've got those. So you're leaving the disc and the map with Theodoric, but you're taking copies. So
don't worry, it's all in here.
Okay. Okay, great. So yes, you have a legible. The text of the ability describes it as a legible but imperfect copy, which appears inside your dossier. That's great. Yes. So now you have a map. So you can see on the map that number 7 is the Crystal Bazaar. Number 10 is the hill, that area that he mentioned out of town. Number 4 is where the prismatic temple is, in the temple ward.
No, I just say, are we in Low Orchard, did you say, at the moment?
Yes, you're down at the bottom of the map, number 8.
Fab. So I'm thinking this is me as Indiana Jones now, trying to, just so you can differentiate between the Welsh accents, because I know it's really hard. So why don't we just go to the Crystal Bazaar? It's a little bit closer. Good place to start, possibly?
That sounds good to me. I like crystals. I like bazaars.
Yes, let's do.
Good to stretch our legs. Let's go.
Excellent. So, with a spring in your step and a song in your heart, the 4 of you venture out back into the city through the Low Orchard wall, looking for adventure and excitement at the Crystal Bazaar.
Woo.
Okay, time for a wee and a cup of tea / a beer.
Oh yes. Yep. See you soon.
Okay,
I might have to get a cider then, if that's
I'm
what I'm getting to do it. Then
I'll get a beer.
do it.
And that's the end of part 1 of the Infinite Escape Room Quest Special. Join us next week for part 2, where we dick around in magical John Lewis, find all the wrong solutions to our underground island, and discover alternative employment as retail supervisors. Until then, thanks very much for listening. You can subscribe to us on all of your favourite apps, feeds, iTunes, and at our website, theinfiniteescaperoom.com. You can also follow us and get in touch via Facebook and Twitter at @tier_podcast. We'll see you next time on the Infinite Escape Room. Bye-bye now.